The sky over the colony world of Lysa was no longer blue. Smoke covered everything, thick and dark, blocking the sun. Broken towers stood like bones. Streets were silent, except for fire and distant metal sounds cooling in the air. Millions had lived here once. Now only ruins remained. Captain Day walked through the remains of the central shelter. His boots moved over ash and broken glass. He did not speak. Around him, survivors worked quietly. Some searched for food. Some carried the wounded. Some just sat and stared at nothing. Their faces showed shock, pain, and something deeper that had no name yet. Hannah stood near a cracked wall, holding a small data pad. She was younger than Day, but her eyes looked older. She had seen the reports. Entire human worlds erased in days. No warning. No demand. Just fire from the stars. The galaxy called it a conflict. Humans who survived called it Genocide. Mira helped a child drink water near the shelter door. Her hands shook, but her voice stayed calm. She had lost her family when the first bombardment hit the residential zone. She did not cry anymore. The tears had ended days ago. What remained was empty strength. Day stopped near the center of the shelter. He looked at the people gathered there. They waited for him to speak. He was a soldier, not a leader of civilians, but there was no one else left. They will not come back, he said. His voice was low but clear. The fleets that did this are gone. They believe this world is finished. A man shouted from the back. So what do we do now? Beg them to stop. Day did not answer at once. Hannah stepped forward instead. We already tried to speak, she said. Before the attacks. During them. No answer came. Only silence. The crowd shifted. Anger began to rise. It moved slowly, like heat under stone. Myra stood up. My home is gone, she said. My parents are gone. If we do nothing, this will happen again. Somewhere else. No one argued with her. Far from Lysa. In deep space, hidden stations powered up one by one. These were not official bases. They were old, secret places built during earlier wars that the galaxy had forgotten. Human ships moved in silence, their engines low, their lights dark. Commander Sun watched the fleet from the command deck. He had received the signal from Day hours earlier. The message was short and clear. Humanity had survived. Humanity was angry. Sun turned to his officers. No open broadcasts, he said. No warnings. We gather, we count our strength, and we learn who ordered this. A young officer named Era hesitated. Sir, the Council still believes humans are scattered. If we attack now, we are not attacking yet, Sun replied. We are preparing. On Lysa, Hannah and Day walked together through the ruins. The sun finally broke through the smoke for a moment. Light touched the broken ground. The galaxy will expect a message, Hannah said. They will expect fear. They will hear nothing, Day said. Not yet. Hannah nodded, but her face showed doubt. Silence can be dangerous. So can words, Day replied. That night, survivors gathered in the shelter again. Myra spoke to small groups, helping them plan food and rest. Children slept close to the walls. Guards stood watch even though no enemy was near. Fear had become a habit. Day recorded a private message. It was not sent to the galaxy. It was sent only to human systems still alive. We remember, he said. Every name, every world. We are still here. Across space, the message spread. On mining stations, on ships, on distant colonies that had escaped the first wave, humans listened. Some cried. Some shouted. Some simply nodded. Hannah reviewed data late into the night. She studied attack patterns, fleet paths, energy marks. This was not chaos. It was planned. Several species had taken part. Governments had signed orders. Councils had approved silence. This was allowed. She whispered Dot in another system. Sun's fleet captured a small alien relay station. The crew moved fast and quiet. No civilians were harmed. Data cores were taken. Then the station was disabled and left drifting. Era watched the operation with tight hands. We could have destroyed it, she said. Sun shook his head. That would be noise. We are still shadows. Days passed. Then weeks. Human fleets grew larger. Old ships were repaired. New ones were built in secret yards. Messages moved through secure lines. Names of the dead were shared. Lists grew long. On Lysa, life became harder. Supplies ran low. But people worked together. Mira helped run a small school for children. She taught them numbers and stories of Earth. She refused to let them forget. One evening, she spoke to Day alone. Will this end? She asked, with us becoming like them. Day looked at the stars. I don't know, he said. But I know what happens if we do nothing. Hannah joined them later. She carried a data pad. We have names now, she said. Not all of them, but enough. Day did not smile. Then it begins soon. No, Hannah corrected. It already began the moment they chose silence over life. Far away, alien leaders spoke in calm halls. They believed humanity was broken. They spoke of rebuilding borders and trade. Some even spoke of regret, quietly, behind closed doors. None of them noticed the missing relay station. None of them noticed the silent movement of ships. Beyond their sensors, humanity did not answer the galaxy. Humanity remembered, and in that memory, something hard and unyielding was forming, shaped by loss, fed by anger, and guided by a single shared belief. Diplomacy could wait. Justice could not. Commander Sun watched the galaxy through his station's long-range sensors. Star systems that once traded freely with humans now carried warnings about them. They believed humans were weak and scattered. They believed wrong. Sun sat with his officers around the central table. Era, young and eager, studied the holographic display. We have to strike soon, she said. We cannot wait. They will forget us. No, Sun said. We strike only when we know the truth. When we know who ordered this. When we know how far it goes. Reports came in from captured relay stations and stolen communications. Sun read them carefully. Several governments had coordinated attacks on human colonies. Military forces had been reinforced in secret. Civilian areas were hit first, homes destroyed. Humanity had been left with nothing but Ashdot in a hidden base on a mining station. They and Hannah studied the same data, sent across secure lines. Hannah frowned. They think they are untouchable. They think humans are scattered. They think the few of us cannot act. Day shook his head. They will learn, soon. On Lysa, Mira worked among the survivors. Children asked about their homes, about the stars, about the parents who never returned. She told them stories, keeping their hope alive. The hope was fragile, but it was something humans needed to survive. Meanwhile, human intelligence units began to move. Small teams, in hidden ships, gathered data from systems that had aided the genocide. No lives were lost in the process. Humans were careful. They studied the enemy like predators studying prey. Sun watched one of these missions from his command deck. A single stealth ship slipped past a heavily armed patrol. It scanned the communication nodes and returned with information. Entire plans, entire hierarchies, all laid bare. The galaxy had underestimated humans, and that mistake would cost them. Era questioned the actions taken. We could attack now. We could make them pay immediately. If we strike first, we could save others. Sun looked at her. If we strike without full knowledge, we may lose more than we gain. Patience is our weapon. Knowledge is our shield. Back on Lysa, they trained survivors who were willing to fight. Some were soldiers before the genocide. Some were civilians. They were all humans. All who survived wanted justice. They taught them tactics, strategies, and patience. Not anger. Patience. Hana moved among the group, analyzing reports and updating Day. They have fleets in 3 sectors near the colonies. Some are lightly defended. Some are strong. They have no idea we are regrouping. Day nodded. Then we use that. Slowly, quietly. Their confidence will be their weakness. In a distant sector, Tasu, a young pilot, flew a recon mission. He passed by systems that had participated in the attacks on human colonies. Each world was normal, peaceful. Traders moved, children played. The same children whose worlds had survived only by chance. Tasu felt anger, but he did not act. He reported everything back. Every detail counted. On another front, Mira helped transport survivors to safer areas. They moved through tunnels and old storage halls. Her calm voice guided the frightened and wounded. The memory of her own loss was always close, but she kept it hidden. She had to. She was their strength. Hana called Day to a private room. "We have proof," she said. Several governments signed orders. Many fleets attacked without orders to stop. This is not war. This is planned genocide. Day's hands clenched. Then they cannot hide. Not anymore. Far in space, Sun reviewed the first full report of the data raids. Entire command structures were now visible. Names of officers, fleet movements, supply chains, strategic plans. Humans had been patient. Now they had power. The young officer Era still worried. "We are humans," she said. "We will feel this. If we act, we may lose ourselves too." Sun looked at her. "That is true. But the galaxy has felt nothing when they killed us. They will feel something now." Day walked through the rebuilt central hall on Lysa. Humans moved quietly, determined. They trained. They planned. They remembered. Myra joined him. "We have strength," she said. "Even here, in ruins, we have strength." "Yes," Day replied. "And soon the galaxy will see it." Meanwhile, Sun's fleet moved closer to the regions that had attacked human colonies. They stayed hidden, out of sensor range. They studied patrol patterns, defenses, and communications. Every detail became part of the plan. Hana continued to coordinate between Lysa and Sun's fleet. Messages moved in secure channels. Every new piece of information added to the picture. Human intelligence was fast, precise, and quiet. Era finally understood the larger picture. "We are not attacking blindly," she said. "We are preparing for justice. Not revenge yet, justice." "Yes," Sun said. "But we will strike when the time is right. And it will be precise. Nothing unnecessary. Nothing wasted." Back on Lysa, Mira prepared for the long days ahead. She helped feed the survivors, tended wounds, and guided children in learning and remembering their past. Every human who survived became part of a growing movement. They were small now, but they were not weak. Day watched the sky at night. Stars shone over the ruined planet, and he thought about all the humans lost, all the worlds destroyed, and all the pain that had been ignored. He did not cry. He did not shout. He planned. That was the human way. Now. Hannah joined him. "We have the knowledge," she said. "We know who did this." "Yes," Day said. "And when the galaxy realizes humans are coming, it will already be too late." In secret bases across space, human fleets prepared quietly. Old ships were repaired. New ships were built. Pilots trained. Strategists planned. Every human who survived was part of the coming reckoning. Myra sat with a group of children one night. She told them stories of old Earth, of cities and forests, of oceans and mountains. She told them that humans were strong, that even in the darkest times they could rise again. And so humanity waited, not in fear, not in hope, but in patience. They waited for the moment when the galaxy, which had turned its back on them, would finally look and see that humans were no longer the weak species to be ignored. Humanity had returned, strong, silent, and ready. The galaxy believed humans were gone. They were wrong. Humanity had chosen preparation over panic, knowledge over anger, and strategy over blind revenge. The first counterattacks would not be random. They would be calculated, precise, and unstoppable. And somewhere in the darkness of space, Commander Sun smiled quietly. The time was coming. The galaxy would soon understand that humanity could not be destroyed. Humanity could not be ignored. Humanity would act, and the world would remember the cost of underestimating them. The galaxy had begun to notice. Reports came from patrols and traders. Small stations spoke of strange human ships striking military depots with exact precision. No civilians were harmed, no chaos left behind. But the message was clear. Humans were back, and they were not afraid. Commander Sun stood on the bridge of the flagship. Era, beside him, studied the latest transmissions. "They are moving faster than we expected," she said. "Some fleets have already withdrawn to defend their worlds." "Yes," Sun replied. "They now know humans are coming." Fear spreads faster than fleets. Hana and Day were on Lysa, reviewing reports from the intelligence raids. Each strike, each reconnaissance mission, painted a clearer picture. Alien fleets were not as coordinated as they believed. Some were panicked, some were hesitant. Humans had taken the galaxy by surprise. Myra watched children play among ruins. Even in the midst of destruction, life continued. She reminded herself that humans were more than fighters. They were survivors. Their strength was not only in war, but in the will to endure. On the edge of the Andari sector, human stealth ships struck a lightly defended supply depot. Energy reserves were destroyed with surgical precision. Drones recorded the strike for intelligence purposes. The depot's defenses had been minimal, but the speed and accuracy of the attack left observers stunned. A transmission intercepted from the Andari fleet commander expressed disbelief. "Who are these humans? We thought them weak." Sun smiled quietly. "They underestimated patience," he said. "They underestimated precision. They underestimated humans." On Lysa, Day gathered his officers. "These strikes show the galaxy that humans fight differently," he said. "We do not destroy indiscriminately. We target only those who harmed us." Hana added, "Our enemies expect anger, chaos, and mistakes. We give them none of those things. Only justice, controlled and precise." Tesu and other pilots trained day and night. Each maneuver was studied, each formation practiced until it was instinct. They were preparing not just for combat, but for a demonstration of human skill and discipline. Every strike had meaning. Every movement counted. In a hidden base, Era studied fleet movement across multiple sectors. She noticed patterns of panic among alien officers. Supply lines were breaking. Fleets were being recalled from peaceful systems. Humans were forcing the galaxy to act before humanity even engaged fully. Mira and Day spoke about the morality of what was happening. "Some will say we are cruel," Mira said. "Some will say revenge is wrong." Day shook his head. "They destroyed us without thought. We do not kill the innocent. We act with purpose. That is justice. That is humanity." Hana coordinated communications between the growing human fleet and intelligence units. They gathered more information each day. Names, locations, strategies. The galaxy had thought humans were weak, but humans were precise, organized, and patient. Meanwhile, humans liberated a small mining colony that had been taken over by aliens who helped plan the genocide. No civilians were harmed. Alien forces were disarmed and sent to be held for questioning. The colony cheered when humans arrived. Survivors cried and hugged. Humanity's presence was a promise of hope and vengeance at the same time. The news spread quickly across the galaxy. Reports of human strikes and liberations caused shock and fear. Leaders who had believed they were safe now reconsidered their positions. Some tried to negotiate quietly. Others reinforced fleets and borders. But all knew something had changed. Humans were no longer the weak species they had once ignored. On Lysa, Mira continued to teach the children. She spoke not only of survival, but of courage. "We do not strike blindly," she said. "We strike because it is right, because it is necessary, and because we must protect those who cannot protect themselves." Day walked among the recruits. "Every action matters," he said. "Every life matters. We are not the destroyers the galaxy expected. We are something better. We are humans." Era reported to Sun again. "Enemy fleets are hesitant. They are regrouping, but slower now. They fear human action, even before it fully comes." "Yes," Sun said. "They fear humans because humans remember. They fear humans because humans act with purpose. That is the difference between a predator and a survivor." Hannah reviewed data from liberated colonies. Each system told a story. Civilian survivors thanked humans. The data showed morale among human forces was high. Despite the pain, despite the losses, humanity was united. That unity gave them power beyond fleets or weapons. Tesu prepared for a strike on a high-value target. The target was a communications hub used to coordinate genocidal fleets. The mission would be precise. No unnecessary damage, no civilians harmed. It would send a clear message. Humans could destroy, but they could also control. Day met Mira in the evening. The sky was clear, stars shining above. Myra looked at the children playing quietly. "Do you think we are doing the right thing?" she asked. Day looked at her. "Justice is not simple. It is not kind. But it is necessary. We remember what was done to us. We act so it does not happen again. That is enough for now." Hannah joined them. "The galaxy is noticing," she said. "They will begin to act in fear. Some will try to negotiate. Some will try to flee. But humans will strike only when it is needed, and it will be precise." Across space, Sun gave final orders for the first full-scale coordinated strikes. Stealth ships moved into position. Pilots prepared. Every fleet was ready. Every plan had been rehearsed. No mistakes could be allowed. Era watched the preparations with calm determination. "We fight differently," she said. "We fight with thought, not anger. The galaxy will see that humans are more than survivors. Humans are judges of their own destiny." Mira looked at the horizon from Lysa. The planet was scarred, but life remained. She thought about the galaxy, about humans scattered across stars, about the people lost and the ones left behind. She felt pride and sorrow at the same time. Day placed a hand on her shoulder. "We are not finished yet, but the first steps are done. Humans have returned, and the galaxy is starting to remember who they are." Hannah continued her calculations. Each day brought new data, new intelligence, and new opportunities. Humans had survived genocide, rebuilt strength, and prepared for the moment when the galaxy would face them again. The galaxy had believed humans were weak. It had believed humans were scattered. It had believed they could be erased. It was wrong. Humanity was back. Humanity was precise. Humanity was patient. And the first strikes had already begun to change the balance of power. The galaxy would learn that humans were not only survivors, but a force that would not be ignored. The galaxy was beginning to bend to the pressure of human action. Worlds that had taken part in the genocide were in disarray. Supply lines were broken. Fleet formations were disrupted. Leaders whispered among themselves, unsure how to respond. Humanity moved carefully, but the message was clear. Those who harmed humans would pay. On Lysa, Myra worked tirelessly to help rebuild a small portion of the colony. Survivors had begun planting crops, repairing shelters, and cleaning debris. The children played quietly among the ruins, under her careful supervision. Her heart remained heavy with loss, but she understood that life must continue, even when the past was filled with pain. They walked among the new recruits. "Every action counts," he said. "Even rebuilding is part of our strength. We do not forget what happened, but we must also remember why we fight." Hana reviewed the latest intelligence reports. More fleets had been located. The evidence of coordination among the genocidal governments was complete. No one could deny it now. The galaxy could not hide the truth dot in a distant system. Tesu prepared for another mission. This time, the target was a communication hub critical for coordinating enemy fleets. The mission required absolute precision. No civilian lives could be lost. No collateral damage allowed. Every movement of the pilot, every action of the support crew, had been rehearsed until it became instinct. Hera studied maps of enemy fleet movements. "They are beginning to fear us," she said, "even before the strikes. Their hesitation gives us advantage." "Yes," Sun replied from the command deck. "Fear is a weapon. Knowledge of our strength spreads faster than our fleets. They see what humans can do, and they panic." Myra spoke to Day quietly one evening. "Do you think what we are doing is right?" she asked. "Sometimes it feels too harsh." Day looked out at the stars. "Justice is not always kind. But we do not strike without reason. We do not kill the innocent. That is the line we must never cross." Meanwhile, liberated colonies celebrated human presence. Survivors hugged, cried, and thanked the humans who had come to free them. It was not just military action. It was proof that humanity still cared for its own. Even in vengeance, Hana coordinated multiple fleets moving toward critical targets. She carefully calculated supply lines, patrol routes, and timing. Each strike would weaken the enemy, but human fleets remained hidden from full view. The galaxy began to fear humans, not only because of the strikes, but because no one knew where they would strike next. On Lysa, Day addressed the gathered survivors. "We have reached a point where the galaxy notices us. They fear us. But fear alone is not enough. We must remain disciplined. We must strike only when it is needed. Our strength comes from control, not chaos." Myra continued her work with children. She taught them the importance of remembering, but also the importance of moving forward. "We fight, we rebuild, and we remember," she told them. "That is what it means to be human." Hera watched the first coordinated strike go into effect. Communication hubs were destroyed. Enemy fleets were delayed and disorganized. Panic spread among enemy leaders. They had not expected humans to be so careful, so precise, so calculated. Tesu returned from the mission, exhausted but satisfied. The target had been neutralized. No civilians were harmed. No unnecessary destruction had occurred. It was a victory of discipline, of intelligence, and of patience. Sun monitored the results. "Every strike teaches them fear," he said, "but it also teaches them respect. And respect, built on fear, ensures that they will think twice before harming humanity again." On Lysa, Day, Myra, and Hana gathered late at night. They spoke quietly, planning for the days ahead. "The galaxy is changing," Hana said. Leaders are uncertain. Fleets are disorganized. We have the advantage now. Yes, they said, but we must not let it blind us. We must remember why we fight. To protect what remains of humanity. To ensure this never happens again. Myra nodded. Even as we fight, we rebuild. That is what makes us human. Across the galaxy, more alien worlds began to feel the consequences. Systems that had joined the genocide reconsidered their alliances. Some began secret talks, hoping to survive human wrath. Others reinforced their defenses, realizing that underestimating humans had been a fatal mistake. In a quiet moment, Era spoke to Sun. Do you think they will ever understand us? They will understand, Sun said. But it will not be easy. Humanity remembers. Humanity fights. And humanity does not forget. The survivors on Lysa looked up at the stars each night, knowing that across the void, humans were acting together, united in purpose. They were not simply seeking revenge. They were delivering justice, ensuring that no one could erase humanity again. Day walked alone after a day of training. He thought about the past, the present, and the future. Humanity had suffered, but it had survived. Humanity had been broken, but it had been rebuilt stronger. Humanity had chosen vengeance not blindly, but with purpose, with care, and with precision. Hana continued her coordination efforts. Intelligence flowed in from multiple fronts. Human fleets remained invisible, yet powerful. Every action was measured, every strike calculated. Humanity had learned the true meaning of patience and strategy. Myra looked at the stars from the top of a ruined tower. Children slept peacefully nearby. The world was scarred, but life persisted. Humanity's vengeance was not only in strikes against enemies, but in survival, in rebuilding, and in hope for the next generation. The galaxy had begun to bend to human action. The message was clear. Humanity was no longer weak. Humanity would not be ignored. Humanity had chosen vengeance, but it had done so with discipline, control, and purpose. And the world, scarred but alive, would stand as proof of what humans were capable when the stars themselves had turned against them. As night fell, they, Hana and Mira, looked toward the future. The galaxy had learned to fear humans, and they had learned to respect them. But the final steps were still ahead. Justice was coming, precise and unstoppable, and the galaxy would see that humanity had survived, remembered, and risen again. The galaxy was trembling. Human fleets had struck with precision, dismantling enemy command networks and crippling military coordination. The leaders who had once ordered genocide now faced a force they had underestimated for centuries. Humanity had returned, and its presence was undeniable. They stood on the command platform of the flagship stationed near Lysa. Reports flowed in from across liberated systems. Every fleet, every colony, every strike was accounted for. No civilian had been harmed unnecessarily. Every action had been measured, precise, and purposeful. Hana moved through the command room, reviewing intelligence. They are starting to realize the extent of what humans have endured, she said. The systems that attacked us are terrified. Some are asking for talks, but they know they have already lost the advantage. Mira tended to children near the shelters, ensuring their safety. She watched them play quietly among the ruins, reminding herself of the human resilience that had allowed survival through catastrophe. Humanity had risen from ash, and now it was delivering its judgment. Commander Sun observed the galaxy through long-range sensors. Communication hubs had been neutralized, supply lines disrupted, and command structures shattered. The alien governments that had approved the genocide were forced to confront their own failures. Fear had entered their ranks. Panic spread among the leaders. Era approached Sun with a report. The enemy wants negotiations. They want to surrender territory. They want to avoid further strikes. It seems our patience and precision have shaken them more than they expected. Yes, Sun replied. They underestimated humans, and now they must face the consequences. But we do not attack recklessly. We give them the chance to face justice before further conflict arises. Day gathered his closest officers. The galaxy has begun to ask for talks, but humanity chooses when to respond. We do not speak until the time is right. Our actions have made them aware that they cannot control us, and now the truth of their crimes will be revealed. Hana distributed reports from newly liberated colonies. Evidence of the genocide, the deliberate targeting of civilians, and the involvement of multiple governments was compiled. This information would be presented to the entire galaxy when humans decided it was time. The power of revelation was now a weapon, as decisive as any fleet. On Lysa, Myra spoke to Day and Hana. The children, the survivors, the colonies, they are all looking to us. Our actions have given hope, but we must also be careful. Justice can be heavy, and we must not lose our humanity in delivering it. Day nodded. We act with precision, not anger. Our vengeance is measured. It is justice, not chaos. That is what makes humans different. That is what will be remembered. Human fleets moved through the galaxy, showing strength without destroying unnecessarily. Every strike against enemy forces was carefully planned. Every liberated colony added to the growing network of human resilience. Humanity demonstrated that it could fight, survive, and rebuild simultaneously. Myra worked to distribute aid, food, and medicine. Survivors thanked her, hugged her, and cried. Humanity was not only a force of vengeance, but also of protection and care. The people who remained alive were living proof of what humans could achieve when, united by purpose.era, continued to track enemy fleet movements. Even as they begged for negotiation, they could not hide the fear that human actions had instilled. Humans had shown that patience, strategy, and memory could be as deadly as any weapon. The galaxy began to understand that underestimating humans had been a grave error. Tesu returned from another successful mission, a critical supply depot destroyed without civilian harm. They did not expect precision, he said. They expected rage. We gave them strategy. Sun observed the results. The galaxy will learn that humans do not forget. Humans do not forgive easily. Humans remember, prepare, and act when the time is right. That is the difference between predator and survivor. Back on Lysa, Day addressed the gathered survivors. Our vengeance is near completion. We have shown the galaxy our strength, our patience, and our unity. But the final step is to ensure that justice is understood and acknowledged. The galaxy will see the truth of what was done to us. Hana activated communications channels, preparing to send evidence to the leaders of all systems. Photos, reports, survivor testimonies, all assembled into a single, undeniable revelation. The galaxy would have no choice but to confront the full extent of its crimes. Mira stood among children and survivors. We fight, we rebuild, we remember, she said softly. That is what makes us human. That is what ensures that we will never be destroyed again. Day and Hana watched the preparations for the final disclosure. Every strike, every liberation, every report had led to this moment. Humanity's vengeance had been deliberate, precise, and controlled. Now the galaxy would know the truth. Sun nodded at Era. Send it. Let the galaxy understand who humans are, what humans have endured, and what humans are capable of. Across the stars, transmissions reached every major system. Evidence of the genocide, the names of the guilty, the destruction of human colonies, and the loss of life could no longer be denied. Shock, fear, and disbelief spread through alien governments. Humanity had survived the impossible and now demanded acknowledgement. Day, Mira, and Hana stood together on Lysa, looking at the stars. The galaxy has learned, Day said. They know that humanity cannot be erased, cannot be ignored, and will not be broken again. Mira smiled quietly. And yet, we have maintained our humanity. We have not become what destroyed us. That is our strength. Hana added, the vengeance has been served. Justice has been delivered. And now, the galaxy must choose its own path. In the vast silence of space, human fleets maintained their vigilance, but the immediate need for strikes had passed. Humanity had proven its resilience, intelligence, and discipline. It had risen from devastation, endured pain, and delivered measured justice. The galaxy would never forget the day humans chose vengeance before diplomacy. And in that quiet, triumphant moment, humanity stood tall. Not just because it had fought, but because it had survived, remembered, and acted with purpose. The galaxy had witnessed the return of a species it had tried to erase, and it would never underestimate humans again.